All right, so in this video, Guardians, I'm going to show you how to set up student groups for your section. On the top right-hand corner of your screen on GoGuardian, there should be an option of to run or change student groups when you are on a live session. This needs to happen while the session is live. To do so, you can just go up here and activate a group that you have previously created. So I have an arrangement here that puts the students in a certain order. Now, the way I will set this up usually is have at the top the students that I need to watch more closely. Perhaps they have an IEP, perhaps they have special needs, or perhaps they have routinely shown me that I have to watch them carefully. And I name the groups something that it's not something that the students would know any better. Um, what that necessarily means, because they can see the name of the groups that they're assigned to on the session when you chat with them and whatnot. Um, this is kind of giving the student a preferential seating. It's in a normal physical classroom. And notice that once the groups are activated, you can actually do things like change the scene for that group. And in fact, uh, once you activate that, you cannot um, actually activate a scene for everybody. You have to individually assign scenes for that group. But it does remember the last scene you assigned for the group, the last time you had the groups activated. So that's kind of nice. Now, there's some extra things that you can do here. You can hit to call the group, and then everybody in that group gets put in a call together. You can hit exclude group, and then that group doesn't get watched at all during the session. Um, then you can also have open a tab for their group that will literally send a link to their screen and open it for them. So these are some useful things. And you can also move the group up and down all the way to the bottom, or even collapse it. Now, when you collapse it, the group's still there. It's just uh, no longer open. And sometimes I might have a group that is like all the people are missing or something, or I don't need to be watching them right now, and so I will collapse that group. So I will have whoever needs to watch the most at the top. Then I will do that in some sort of hierarchy where the people that I have to watch the least will be at the bottom of my screen. And that's because if I want to watch them more closely, say, for example, I want to be like this, um, the students that I need to watch the most will be near the top, right? So that, right? And then I can't see the rest of them unless I scroll down. But that's okay because this is really the ones I really want to be focusing on the most. And so that's kind of why I have this set up. Now, how do you create these groups in the first place, right? Whether you're trying to do a task and you have like some group work, or you just have this kind of differentiated watch list that I have here, you can go up here where it says uh, create new groups. By the way, if a group is running, you can also disable it by hitting that button, and then it will just return to the main session with everybody in one place. And then you have to remember to reapply a scene if you expected them to have a scene that automatically started at the end of class, or at the start of the class. Now you can edit an existing group by going to the edit screen, and you can just hit edit by the group name. And then this is kind of blurry because of the students, but what you see on the right side is an option to actually tick off the students that belong to this group. Now, the only way for them to be moved to a different group is to actually tick off their name, and then they become available to be added to a different group. So I can come up here, switch to that group, and then add that student to that group. So I have a group at the bottom that I actually put all the absent students on. And so almost every day I added my standard group, and I put the students which are absent there. And I also have students which are routinely absent in that group anyways, because I don't really need to watch them, right? They're not in class, they're not logged in. So they stay on the bottom of my screen. And I kind of organize the groups, like I said, in order from the ones I want to watch the most to the ones I don't need to watch as much. And you can change this order uh, after it's running also. I also want to show you that if you leave a student unmarked, you can't save the group. You have to make sure everybody's assigned before you can save it. So after the groups are actually activated, I'm going to activate standard grouping again. You can change it. So let's say, for example, I want to change who watching, so you can move it up or down. But I like to set it up so that the by standard, the one that you list at the top when you editing will be the ones that actually show up at the top at first when you create it. Now you can have multiple groups, right? And you can also add new groups uh, while you're adding. Just create a new category, name it, put a student inside, and it's all good. You don't have to have students inside of all the groups. You can sometimes have the students be, so right now I have no students on Singularity, and that's okay. All right. I can also create a new group arrangement. So I can, let's watch that. So when you do that, you can create them randomly, or you can create a customized group. And when you're creating a customized group, you have to actually write the names of all the groups that you want to have, and then one by one, click on edit and select the students that you want in that category, right? And then you have to keep doing this until all the students are picked. When you run your last group, you can just say select all. Now, once all the students are picked, you are allowed to go to the next screen. And you can save this arrangement for the future. Let's say, for example, this is a group work assignment. All right, so there we go. And now it's saved. But you can also delete that group. If you no longer need it, you're not using it anymore, you can just come up here and hit delete. Now, groups are really cool because it allows you to actually, like I said, do things when you call all the people in that group, have a filter that applies only to those people. So maybe these people are often off task. So I'm going to be more restrictive and block everything for them. They can't even use their email or Gmail. They have to be in Edgenuity and that's it, right? But this group might have a less restrictive scene, and this one might have no scene at all because I trust them to take care of themselves. It all depends on what you need from that. Notice you can also click on this little checkbox at the left side of the group, and then all the students of that group are selected at once. And then you have options like calling them, the same way you could have done up there, opening a tab for them. Again, you could have done that up there. Lock all their devices at one, unlock all their devices at one, exclude them from the session, which again you could have done up there, or apply a scene for them, which again you could have done up there, right? There's also a little settings cog right by that group name, and that's a quicker way to edit that group and who's in it, because it will open that group right away. So if you, for example, have one of those students be absent today, you can just kind of really quickly come in, untag them, put them on the absent group, and then save it again, right? So that's kind of how you would use these groups, and this is a great way to actually have more control and differentiation over over your watch list during class. Hope you find this helpful.